Today on Forbes, meet the billionaire behind private company giant Tricon Energy. Ignacio Torras takes a nap every afternoon. On days when the founder and CEO of commodities trader Tricon Energy is working out of his high-rise headquarters in Houston, he snoozes in his white leather Eames recliner in the corner of his glass-walled office. Torras, who is 61 years old, cares not a whit that the trader is responsible for much of Tricon's $13 billion in annual revenues, can watch him sleep. A nap needn't be long. He says, quote, just enough to clear the mind. It's his key to juggling many balls. That includes everything from waking up at 4 a.m., checking in on his 2 Spanish restaurants in Houston, including Michelin-starred BCN Taste and Tradition, to attending Mass with his wife Isabel at least a couple times a week, to hosting bi-weekly soccer scrimmages on the backyard pitch behind his sprawling Spanish-styled home. Of course, much of his time is focused on Tricon Energy, his $13 billion in 2024 revenue company that, in December, debuted at number 35 on Forbes' list of the 200 biggest private companies in America. Tricon moves roughly 24 million tons of chemicals around the world each year. These are mostly commodities like polypropylene for making plastic sheets, and xylene and methanol, key ingredients in plastic bottles and polyester fabric. His biggest seller is pellets of polyethylene resin, little chunks of plastic that Tricon buys from the world's biggest chemicals producers, like ExxonMobil, LyondellBasell, Shell, and Dow Chemical, and resells to manufacturers who will melt and reform them into toys, bottle caps, and car parts. Unlike hedge funds or paper traders, Tricon actually assumes physical possession of the products. Torras says, quote, we take 100% title. We'll buy 5,000 tons, take it to a warehouse in Houston, and sell 300 tons to Algeria, 500 tons to Nigeria. We're the Walmart of chemicals. Perhaps, but like many global businesses, Tricon is being swept up in Trump's tariff wars. Worse still is the post-pandemic hangover. During COVID, demand for chemicals shot up and prices surged, leading to a massive build-out of chemical plants financed at rock-bottom interest rates. Shell spent $14 billion on one megaplant that opened in Pennsylvania in 2022, while China has completed a half-dozen chemicals megaprojects in the past few years, including ExxonMobil's $10 billion complex in Huizhou. Before long, there was a glut leading to all sorts of consequences. In July, Dow Chemical cut its dividend by 50%. Lyondell wrote off $1 billion in European chemical assets last quarter. In Korea, Lotte and Hyundai announced in November that they would consolidate polyethylene plastic production and mothball excess factories. Shell announced it is looking to sell part of its new megaplant. Meanwhile, shares of big manufacturers like Dow Chemical, LyondellBasell, and Westlake are all down 40% this past year. Torras, who describes it as the worst time for the chemicals industry in 20 years, says, quote, it's a very bad market situation. Yet in terms of tonnage and market share, this will be the best year in Tricon's history. Profits won't be as high as they were at its peak in 2022, before the market started to turn, says Torras, but backed with a string of acquisitions, Tricon is shipping 20% more chemicals than a year ago and expects revenues to climb commensurately. Even with today's depressed valuations, Forbes estimates that Tricon has an enterprise value of more than $5 billion, making Torras, who owns 90% of the equity, a billionaire. He shrugs and says he's never had it appraised and wouldn't, especially today. Besides, he's too busy navigating the down cycle to celebrate. Torras says he likes to remind himself, quote, day follows night. Prepare for the cycle to turn, which it will because it always does. For full coverage, check out Christopher Hellman's piece on forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.